Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Day 2 of E3 2015 here on Engadget.com. My name is Anthony John Agnello, Streams producer.
Hi, I called out right now, but please leave your name and number and I'll call you back.
Here at Engadget, and we are continuing our wonderful streak of awesome streams with developers at E3 this week. Today, we are playing Divinity Original Sin and talking with Larian Studios, the wonderful Belgian studio that is behind this game, which came out last year and actually had an enormously successful run, both on Kickstarter and when it came out on Steam. This game really killed it. And now, this year, they are bringing Divinity Original Sin to Xbox One and PlayStation 4 as Divinity Original Sin Enhanced Edition. We are trying to get none other than Sven Vink, whose name I am undoubtedly pronouncing incorrectly, here on the line. Sven is on the floor at E3 and having a little bit of trouble with the noise there. We are trying to call Sven right now to get him on the line, and then we'll get some answers about this this wonderful RPG and how it's making the transition to Xbox One and PlayStation 4.
Le réseau que vous avez choisi est temporairement non disponible. Het gevraagde telefoonnet is momenteel niet beschikbaar. The network you have chosen is not available.
Oh, the network,
Het gewenste telefoonnet is...
So, that is the situation. We are trying to call a couple of Belgian game developers. We will try. We will try Kirill at Larian Studios. So, hold on just 1 second as we dial him up. In the meantime, everybody, I would love to know what you guys are thinking of E3 this year. I have found it to be an incredibly exciting E3. It has been remarkable, to say the least. Ah, here we go. Hello, Kirill!
Hello.
How are you, man?
Good. I barely hear you, though. I didn't try to become a place here.
Oh, alright. I apologize. Hopefully you'll be able to hear me. Ladies and gentlemen, we have, Kirill, we are already live. Here, everybody, we have, Kirill, I am about to pronounce your...
Take my phone to our developers producer. His name is Farang Namdar. He'll be talking to you.
Oh, wonderful. All right, thank you.
Yellow?
Yes, hello. This is Anthony at Engadget. I am sorry, Kirill said your name very quickly, and I am going to mispronounce it terribly. You are with Larian Studios, yes?
That is correct. My name is Farhang Namdar. I'm the lead game designer of the game.
Farhang, I am so glad. Am I saying your name correctly, Farhang? I get everybody's name wrong.
You are saying it correctly, man. It's fine. Just tell me on what show I am, because I'm on the show floor here at E3, and Kirill just gave me the phone. He said, like, it's live.
Oh, that is perfect. You are on Engadget.com's E3 live stream right now.
Okay.
We're playing the original version of Divinity Original Sin right now.
Not the enhanced one?
Not the enhanced one. We are not playing enhanced. Well, this is why you're here, man. You're here to tell us all about the enhanced edition. So what do you
need to know?
I need to know everything. I love the PC version of Divinity Original Sin. It really knocked my socks off. What is new in the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One version that's coming out?
Alright, so you got about 20 minutes, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, lay it.
Okay,
I want every single granular detail about how you've changed the engine and everything. Lay it on me.
Alright, so basically as you know, Divinity Original Sin was released last year on the PC, and was pretty well received. It got, GameSpot's PC Game of the Year 2014, which was a pretty big deal for us. Kevin was just here, and he really loved the enhancements as well. And what we decided to do is actually see if we could get it going on the PS4 and the Xbox One. So basically, console, right? And there were a couple of tricky stuff, because basically you're playing the game on the PC, and you should imagine that we're converting that to a controller gameplay, which had its challenges, but it actually runs pretty smooth. So the enhanced edition has local co-op, which supports split screen. So if you're, doing your couch co-op with your girlfriend or your friend, if the moment you get it far away from each other, the camera zooms out. If you get too far, it actually splits. So you can do anything you really want apart from each other. You can be in two separate combats. Somebody could be in jail. You can form a jailbreak. We have new companions. So, on the PS4 and the Xbox One version, there's a couple of new companions. The skill system has been revised. So, the progression through the skill tree was something that we felt was kind of, not really lacking, but it could be better. Because, somewhere around level 13, it starts equalizing. So, you're not looking forward to any of the bigger skills anymore. So we introduced the master skills. These are really kick-ass, out of this world skills that really give you a lot of power. You can combine them. We also redid the special effects of the skills and the sounds. So there's a huge update on the graphics front as well. What else? Story. Probably the biggest changes to the story, because there were some companions we felt didn't fit in well enough. Like their backstories weren't. They were interesting characters, but they didn't tie into the the bigger plot of the story. And also, some of the information regarding the story events were not staggered correctly. You know what I mean? Like we name dropped someone 20 hours ago. And in the meantime,
and then all of a sudden it takes like billion years to get back to it. Right.
I told you 20 hours ago. And then obviously, like, all these remarks from people on forums and stuff, like, yeah, it kind of felt off. And really, after a game is finished, you can spare about 100 hours to play your own game. Because, as the lead game designer, I play the game, but I play it in parts, right? So I play, like, every part that's done. I check out if it feels well. Does it correspond? Are the traps well? Does the combat roll well? But you don't get the feeling of how the story progresses over a span of 100 hours, because you just don't have those hours to spare. So you'll be talking to QA, like, did it feel good? How long are you playing it now? And all that stuff. And so finally we had some time to play it, and it was quite apparent, like, okay, we need to introduce this character a bit slowly. We need some stuff there. We're missing something here. We need a bridge there. So now it's really like, over the span of 100 hours, the information of the story is, released slowly, so that you can actually you have time to digest it, and you actually have time to figure it out as well as you're playing it. Because, in the last version, you just got these dialogues and you just took them, and you not necessarily were completely aware of what was going on, but it did give you, it gave you a feeling for the story, but it didn't involve you really. So that's what we've been doing mainly now as well. So a whole part of the ending has been revised. We have the tearjerkers in there, all that stuff. So that was something that we personally felt was missing. What else? Oh yeah, voice recording, man. Wow. We started like in January, and we ended last week. So we voice recorded 88,000 lines. Everything in the game is completely voiced now, so you don't need to read a lot anymore.
Oh, who likes reading, Farhang? Who likes reading?
Well, that's the thing, right? That's what I'm trying to tell Sven all the time. Like, I was just telling someone in the booth. I don't know. It was a narrative designer from some company. He was saying, "I love the way you guys do your stuff." And I was just telling him, like, my writers, they keep on, writing. So they really give you this beautiful environment. They do a lot with words, but I'm telling him all the time, keep it shorter, keep it short. Nobody's going to read that. Just shorten it a little. Just take off a paragraph, and I still end up with a lot of text. So even if they, cut it down. So we really felt we needed the voice recording. And the thing is, it's really expensive. So, it wasn't something that we could do immediately when we released the game initially, but we finally got enough cash to actually invest that huge amount of money, and we got about 40 plus actors, playwright actors, British guys, American guys as well. We got them all from London, and they did a pretty good job. So if you happen to come to the show floor, you should definitely check out the enhanced edition.
Farhang, it's really interesting. I never thought about this until recently, but I was speaking to a writer who was talking about writing dialogue and expository text for video games. And he was saying to me, before, he did this exact same thing as Sven, where he's like, oh, let's write a bunch of things. Like, let's get all the text in the world. Let's write all the stuff. And he said, when I was finally playing a game, the thing that changed my conception about what needed to happen for game dialogue was Twitter. He was like, I started thinking about tweets and how
how short they are and how much information is in there, right?
Yeah, and like it's a really weird thing. You don't think about writing text in any other way, in any other format like you do on Twitter. And he said that completely changed his approach to writing dialogue for a game.
True.
So maybe that's going to be the trick for getting Sven to cut things back. I'm fascinated to hear you say that you have made such dramatic structural changes to Divinity between the game as it was last year and the game as it will be in the Enhanced Edition. Have you ever worked on a game in your entire career where you've had an opportunity to go back and say, let's not just improve one thing or two things, where you go back and say, let's change the fundamental structure of this. Let's reconsider everything from the top up.
It hasn't ever happened before, so it really hasn't happened before. That's the thing, right? Because, it was just recently, after the success of Original Sin, because we're an independent developer, right? So we publish our own games as well. And it's not as, it's really not easy, because you need to have the bandwidth and the freedom and the cash to actually make these changes. And previously, we always worked with publishers, and basically, we always, got screwed over. So, I'm not trying to give them a bad name, but the business matter of the fact is that they want products to be done on certain moments, and usually it's impossible to finish them within times that are set for them. If you really want to make it good, the thing is, it's very simple. You finish your game, you play it, shit, we missed this, and that. But by that time, it's finished and it's released. So when you say that, oh my God, we still need to fix these stuff, then you have the time to actually, fix the stuff. And this time we really had the cash to do it. So regarding that, it's the first time we've been ever to, to make the changes the way we wanted. We did make like the Dragon Knight saga. So we made the Divinity 2 Ego Draconis, which was a third-person action RPG. And that was pretty okay, but it wasn't, what we expected as well. So we made the Dragon Knight saga, which was also better, but it didn't have all the changes we incorporated. But this time with Original Sin, it's a fun game. It would be a shame to not have it reach its full potential. And moreover, this is not, there's like 30% of the content has been added or so. Like a lot has been changed and a lot has been made better, but we don't believe, we don't think we can ask people money for this that already bought the originals. So if you have the original, it'll automatically upgrade to the Enhanced Edition.
So if I'm playing this on Steam, will I automatically get that controller support as well? That's just built into the Enhanced Edition?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, God, it's so strange that we're now in a place where you don't have to really think about, what publisher expectations are anymore.
Well, no, because the thing is, we're gamers. Like, that's first and foremost, we're gamers, and then we're game developers. So whenever you want to make a decision, the first thing you think is like, yeah, but if I would be playing a game, or if I would buy a game from a developer, like, would I expect this or that? You know what I mean? It's like, you're not looking at it from a business point of view because you're the developer. You should look at it from a business point of view to increase efficiency and decrease costs and stuff like that. But there's always this little angel on your shoulder telling you, like, do the right thing for the gamers, and that's pretty much what we're trying to do with our games.
So at this point, do you think that you guys at Larian would ever go back to a traditional publishing model? Would you ever sit there and say, you know what,
Sven, would we ever go back to a traditional publishing model?
Never know.
You never know. If somebody says, like, here's a suitcase of money, 200 million, make whatever you want, and we'll publish whatever you want. sure, that's a great deal. But if it's going to be like, yeah, you'll have enough to finish the project, and after that, once we make our cash, you'll get your royalties. And if you're still around and not bankrupt, then you might be able to invest in a, you know, part 2 or a part 3. You know, that's really not the way we're doing things right now. We believe it's the best way is to actually deliver finished games, and it's really hard to do that, but it's really the best way of doing it. And anybody that's listening, that's making games, guys, make sure your games are finished before you release them. If you have to put your house on sale, if you know, have to get a second mortgage, do it. Just release it, done, so that people enjoy it the way it's supposed to be.
Well, Farhang, that's a very, very interesting thing to say, because one of the things that's coming clear at E3 2015 is the fact that people are embracing a video game world where they're playing unfinished games, and playing unfinished games a lot. You know, the fact that Microsoft says, hey, we like what is happening with early access, we want to get that on a console. And, you know, I think that the early access model is great. I think it's a good thing, but
fantastic,
at the same time, you do have a lot of people who are paying, oftentimes, full price for what is an unfinished game. And
yeah, it's true. It's true.
So
you know, you got to be fair about it. Like the whole thing with the early access thing, you know, you can't say like, hey, it starts up. Here's early access. You can't do anything anymore in the game, but it boots up. That's like, yeah, why would you put that on early access? There's no feedback you need. So at a certain moment, you know, it depends what kind of game you're making. But for an RPG, all have to be in place. Everything has to work. So the moment I put it on early access, the feedback I get is viable. If I know what's wrong with the game, I don't need to put it on early access. You know what I mean? The whole point of early access is that you allow people to enjoy the game, and a lot of people to enjoy the game, and give you viable feedback, stuff that you impossibly can come up with, because at that moment you don't have enough people or time to, you know, or the ease of use. You know, if I can sit in my boxer shorts and play my game for 3 weeks, I'm pretty sure I'll come up with some really good adjustments. But if I don't have that luxury, it's really cool that I can, you know, have other people do that, fans of us, community users. But when you go on early access, you need to have a game, because you're asking people for money. You're not wasting their time. That's the most important thing. So if you do it like that, that's fine. It's perfect. When you release a game, you might have a day 1 or day 2 patch, but you know, you can't cheat people. That's the feeling I get that, you know, sometimes happens on early access, where you go like, this is absolutely crap. I mean, how do they even, you know, come up with this to put it on early access? It at least needs 6-7 months. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can't use it to cheat people. That's really a bad thing to do. And there might be some developers out there that disagree, but you know, the bottom line is you owe people a game when they pay you.
Right. And I think that there is going to come a point, and this is my personal opinion, but I think that there's going to come a point in the next couple of years where, you know, the crowdfunding model, as it's been conceived at this point, because you guys, you know, Larian sort of has the ideal Kickstarter arc, where you guys, you know, there's huge interest in your game, you get the funding for it, and then really not long thereafter, in development terms, you deliver a game, a full game.
Well, but the thing is also, like, look, you can't go to Kickstarter and say, I have nothing. Give me money and I will give you a game. Look, it doesn't work that way, buddy. You know, like, you gotta have something. You gotta have something to show for and say, like, look, this is what we have right now. It's a piece of clay. We can mold it together if you invest on it, and we can make it better. But you need to have something, you know? Like, some of the Kickstarters just have a couple of images.
a proof,
stuff that you might, you know, get like, oh, this is a tier 2 reward. There is no reward. The game is not coming out. Like, if you guarantee the game is coming out, I will love to invest in your reward. And that's the thing that was different with us. You know, we already invested a considerable amount of time in getting the engine going. And right at the time where it was starting to be like usable and starting to, you know, prove that it was, you know, a game that would get published, that's when we went to Kickstarter and said, like, hey guys, we're gonna need a bit of extra cash to make this happen. And it's great because we have a huge community over the years that built up around our Larian Studios and all our games, and these guys were really excited, like they could do something back, and we really took it seriously. So you know, from the point that we had something playable, it was worthwhile investing in Kickstarter. After the Kickstarter cycle was finished, we could go to early access with already a thing that the community and the users that loved our game had input on. So, you know, it was already there on about, you know, 60-70% game done, and you could play it. So it really made sense to get that extra feedback based on the stuff you already got from Kickstarter.
Farhang, why?
Yeah.
This is more related to, you know, sort of the place that Divinity lives in the modern landscape of games.
Yeah.
Why have traditional PC RPGs come back in such a profound way? Because it's not like, oh, there's been one or two successes. There's been Divinity, there's been Wasteland, there's been Torment. Like, people have expressed an insane hunger for this type of game. So why is this coming back now, and why, you know, why is it going to be sustainable? You know, is it going to be a flooded market in the coming year?
Well, the thing is, like, a lot of people, especially youngsters, don't know these kind of games, right? And back in the days, like, if you would play Ultima or any of the other games, you had like 32 kilobytes, and not even kilobytes, you had 32K, and that was the entire game.
Right.
And these were RPGs, and the only reason they could function was because they had like gameplay systems that were written in code. So it wasn't generated content, it was actually coded content. And being smart about this created this dynamic world with all these mechanics that actually work together to create this dynamic system. Now, that's a type of game development that has gone lost ever since the commercial successes went down the street of having pre-rendered movies, CG, all that stuff, right? So people like to make scripted events more because that's more like movies. But it's wrong. You know, games are nowhere near movies. They're supposed to give you an experience and not just give you, well, this is basically half a movie and half a game. Well, if you want to see a movie, go watch a movie. There's plenty of good movies. I dare anyone. Just take the top 500 of IMDb and it'll be shit in there you've never seen before. And if you want to write, you know, if you want to read a good story, read a book. You know, the whole point of a game is to have like this flexible environment where you can play around, have fun with. And these CRPGs actually create that environment for you. It's this huge adventure. It's this huge world. You can do anything you really want. Story is important, you know, the reliving the experience. And interaction is really important as well, you know, like if you look at Divinity in comparison to all the competitors, you can do anything in our game, like anything. You can pick up anything, combine it with anything. We have puzzles. You know, it's not like you click on a door and the conversation opens like, hey, there might be a crack in the door. No, you see the crack, you see the door. You have hundreds of skills. You have teleport pyramids. You have anything. You can drop a mine on it. You can do anything. And really, we incorporated all kinds of designs to make sure you could do anything. To make sure you really feel flexible in this huge world. And the reason that they're coming back, these CRPGs, is because people feel taken seriously. You know, they're required to read things. You know, they have to remember stuff.
That's what excites me when I play Divinity.
They're there. They're using their own intellect to go, you know, to get past something. It's not a marker they're blindly following to talk to an NPC that says, "Give me my shoelace." It's fine, you know. There's no viable reason why the guy can't get his own bandanas or shoelaces. It's just, you know what I mean? And it's really the MMO environment that you know serves social gaming more than it does you know, good game design. That's basically the bottom line. So and seeing the fact we've been swamped by things as World of Warcraft and stuff like that, like easily digestible products for the mass market, which completely eclipse these things. And I don't know if you noticed, but as we're getting further, the support for CRPGs is slightly dying down. Like, you know, like the Kickstarters aren't getting, you know, the targets aren't being met as soon as they were 2 years ago and stuff like that. So we might experience another wave. But generally speaking, I believe, you know, as my brother said, he's like a 45-year-old gamer. And I sent him a beta key of our game when it went to Kickstarter. I said, you know, try it out. I know you like these kind of games. And he actually called me up and he said, like, Farhang, this is really one of the better games I've played in the last couple of years. Actually, after about 15, 20 years, I feel a game is taking me seriously.
Man, you can't ask for a higher compliment than that. Farhang.
Yeah, I really felt excited about it. You know, I was really moved as well. I was really intrigued.
we only have a couple of minutes left, and I would be remiss in my duties to our regular viewers here in the chat. Render B, Yodel, Bill D, Something Mimic, they are our obsessive guys who are here at every single stream, and they have one burning question, and that is, how does Divinity Original Sin, the Enhanced Edition, use the light bar on the PlayStation 4 controller?
Oh, really? We don't have any...
Really is what everybody says.
Put that on the list. Yeah, no, so... Okay, let's get this straight. Like, all the cool features and all the additional stuff. So first we're finishing off the game. And meeting all our TCRs, or XRs on the Xbox. So these are certificates for technical requirements, you know, stuff the game needs to comply with for it to be released on the console. So once we have those done, then we can start implementing beta support, the light stuff. But, you know, nothing of this has been planned yet. But it's not a lot of work. So we got all the SDKs, and we can actually fool around with it. Same goes for VR and stuff. I mean, nothing's been planned yet, and it's not on the schedule yet. But, you know, we have really competent programmers. So it's not going to be a tough thing to actually get something useful going on for these things.
Wow, so you guys are excited about implementing VR features, really?
Yeah, why not? It's new tech. Like, why wouldn't you do it? It's like the same people that hate 3D movies. Like, you know, why not?
Why not?
You watch reality at about 60 to 90 frames a second, depending on what kind of human being you are, and you watch it in full 3D. So why not have movies run at 60 frames a second in full 3D? Like, what kind of ridiculous... Why not? Why would you watch something that's 24 frames a second? It's just retarded. It's got that movie feeling. No, that feeling is what you give to it. We're pushing boundaries. You know what I mean? It's like, that's the whole idea. If you're standing on top of a mountain and you take a picture of it, it's never going to be the same as standing on top of the mountain. So the closer you get to that, the better it is. Same thing for cutting edge technology. I mean, if it's available, it doesn't require too much effort. Why not? Play Divinity with a VR helmet. It's fine.
Farang, that is one of my favorite answers I have gotten to any question in any conversation I have had this E3. Is there anything else that you would like to tell everybody who may not be looking forward to Enhanced Edition enough at this point? What do you want them to know about your game?
Well, I would say it's coming out fall 2015. It's October-ish. You can play it together with your brother, friend, girlfriend on the console, on the PC. It has split screen. You can really have a blast. It's an 80-hour adventure. It's not like, you know, we're not going to play Mario Kart together, which is fine, but you can actually go on an adventure together with someone, and not on an MMO adventure. Go get my shoelace or go do. No, it's an adventure. You can do stuff together. You can trick the game. You can actually be on an alternate reality and have fun because it's lighthearted. It's got humor, and it's fun. You can play 2 hours a day. You know, nothing more, nothing less. You don't need to give up any of your duties or your exercise, but you can just have a lot of fun together. That's basically the coolest thing about the game. It's just really a lot of fun.
I love it, man.
That's really the bottom line.
I am very much looking forward to it. I am very much looking forward to being able to play with the controller, because frankly my keyboard and mouse skills have just never caught up, man. It's never happened.
Yeah, I know, right?
Farang, thank you so much, man. Have a killer rest of your show, and we'll talk to you soon. This fall, when the game is out, let's have you back on the show, huh?
All right, let us know, man.
Definitely. All right, bye-bye.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
And everybody who is hanging out with us, we're going to go dark for just 30 seconds. We're going to be right back with you here on JXE Streams. We're going to have Z-Boyd Games, the wonderful, wonderful indie crew behind awesome JRPG-style games like Cthulhu Saves the World, Breath of Death, and the brand new Cosmic Star Heroine. Stick around. We will be back in just a second.